I, 25M, have been dating my girlfriend, 24F, for 5 years, and we've been living together for 2 years. We met in college, and I always felt like she was the perfect person to come into my life at the perfect time. I've always felt like we had a very trusting relationship, which I valued because of negative past experiences. Over the past few months, I've been very busy and stressed with my office job. I can admit that while this has been going on, I've been available less and haven't been as warm and affectionate when we've spent time together because I've been feeling drained at the end of my work days. I shouldn't let this kind of thing get in the way of my relationship with her, and I haven't been at my best. The problem is, she's felt that, and in the meantime, she met this male coworker that she's been spending more and more time with. It started off slow. She'd tell me she was going to hang out with a coworker or multiple coworkers after work, and we had a trusting relationship, so I thought nothing of it, given that I was stuck at work and couldn't spend time with her anyway. Over time, she started to spend more and more time with her coworkers, and I realized I didn't really know who she was with and what she was doing while she was gone. I asked her about it multiple times and at first received non-answers. I was getting so worried about what she was doing and with who that I talked to both her mom and sister and asked them what to do and if they could help me figure it out. Eventually, she told me she's been hanging out with one of her male coworkers, let's call him Tim, and her and Tim just hang out at coffee shops, do things around the city, and sometimes watch movies at his place. She gave me some examples of things they're done, and I was really hurt because we have had a running list of places to go or things around our city that we've been planning to try together for the first time, and she'd knock things off our list with Tim instead of me. I confronted her about how hurtful that was and how I haven't been the best boyfriend recently, but how I was starting to get a little suspicious of this Tim guy. I made her look me in the eyes and tell me that Tim is nothing more than a friend, and she did so, and also apologized for doing these things without me, basically telling me that there's absolutely nothing between them and I have nothing to worry about. So after that, we went back to normal for a few weeks until last night. Last night, she fell asleep early, and so I went to plug her phone in and double-check that her alarms were set for work in the morning. While I had her phone unlocked, a text popped up from Tim. I feel guilty for doing it still, but my curiosity got the best of me, and I opened the text. I ended up reading through their texts from around the past month or so, and I could feel my stomach sinking. It wasn't consistently every day, but most days they were sending each other good morning and good night texts. They were sharing songs and making playlists together. He was flirting with her hard, and while most of the time she seemed to shrug it off and say he's a good friend and she appreciates him, sometimes she was openly flirting back. One set of texts that hurt me the most was from when she was out of town for a weekend around a month ago. I tried to check in with her regularly while she was gone on her trip, but could barely get any responses. In her text with him, he was telling her he missed her, and she was sending back that she missed him too, and was giving him constant updates on what she was up to while she was away. After I'd read their texts, it was eating away at me, so I woke her up to confront her. She didn't deny that he'd been openly flirting with her, and that she'd sometimes even flirted back. I brought up how she'd lied to my face about how he was a friend and nothing more, and she apologized and insisted that while yes, emotionally, he's been a bit more than just a friend, there hasn't ever been anything physical between them. She said that she's known he was into her and has just been in denial about it. And when she had been ready to admit that to herself, she would have put a stop to it. She offered to cut him off immediately if that's what I wanted, which she did the next morning. The problem is what's sticking with me still is the fact that I confronted her about it initially and she lied about it. She said there was nothing there when there was, and didn't show any signs of putting a stop to it until I read her texts and confronted her about it. She cut him off and apologized, but I don't know how I can trust her going forward. At this point, I really do believe her when she says that there wasn't anything physical, and I do believe her when she says she's sorry. Basically, I'm looking for advice on how to handle this situation from here. I still really love her, had plans to propose to her, and want things to work. But on the other hand, I don't know how I can trust her. Yes, I've been distant and haven't been at my best in our relationship, but instead of talking to me about it, she went outside of our relationship to the first guy that was giving her attention and got what I was failing to provide from someone else. I've asked her to go stay with her parents for the next week or so I can be alone, process the whole situation, and decide what to do. TLDR, I've been stressed and haven't been the best boyfriend, but instead of talking to me about it, my girlfriend went and got her emotional needs met outside of our relationship with a coworker. I only found out after reading her texts, and I believe her apology is sincere, but don't know how I can trust her going forward. I'm looking for advice on how to handle this situation.